Here's the thing. Following what other people say simply because of how they're doing it, how they look, and where they are in life, and trying to be someone you're not simply because others are doing it. This is a common thing that I think about, and not gonna lie, I struggle with. I know everyone in the world struggles with this, and I want to do a little talk on it. Hello and welcome to the Intentionally You podcast. This is a new segment thing that I am starting, and I don't know how it's going to go, but I hope I have fun with it, and that is the whole entire plan for this. If you can hear some noise in the background of dogs barking, my dogs are barking at people who are outside doing work. They're always barking, but that's beside the point. Welcome. If you're listening over on Spotify, I also have the video up on my YouTube channel, which you can go and look at. But hi, I hope you're all having a fabulous day. I'm Charlie. This is where we discuss all things in relation to being a better version of you. So being the best version of yourself, no matter where you are in life. If you are coming out of a very chaotic, stressful time in your life, or like something happened, or you were just wanting to make a better choice for yourself for your future, then hi, you are more than welcome to stay. I would like you to stay. And it's also about a little series of my journey along the way, as well as encouraging and inspiring people who also want to better themselves at the same time with me, becoming the intentionally you desire. I hope that makes sense. So welcome to the first episode. I'm Charlie, and today we'll be speaking about following the crowd, because everyone else is doing it. So why shouldn't you? And this is a question I have come across multiple times throughout my life, but particularly throughout my 20s. I am only in my early 20s, and still I feel pressured. I feel like I have to be doing exactly what everyone else my age is doing, getting engaged, having babies. I've already have friends who are engaged and have kids. There's nothing wrong with being that age and being in your early 20s of having children or getting married, and it's completely fine not to be at that step in your life. And there are times where I bring myself down so much to the point where I want to push myself to do it, even though I know I'm not ready. And I know a lot of people feel this way as well. Being pushed and pressured into things that you don't want to do, or you're not ready, or you are unsure of, but simply doing it to please others, to please society, to please your parents, and in a way to also please yourself, is also to please to fit in to everyone's standards around you. It's quite a challenge. What does it mean to follow the crowd? When I was looking up what does it mean to follow the crowd, basically the general term is to do what most other people are doing. And we often make our decisions based on societal trends, family, how we were brought up, friends, social media especially, instead of actually basing our own decisions through ourselves and our own personal values. This tends to get a little bit messy and chaotic, especially if we have we do know our end goal in life, and we tend to not follow it to the way that we know we should follow it, but we don't, because simply to please society or other people. And often we don't follow this, or we don't follow what we want to do in life, or we don't follow our own desires, and we tend to follow the crowd of other people and their desires, their goals. This can be because of fear in ourselves, and we don't want to stand out from the crowd. We fear of being seen, we are fear of being judged, and we're just fear of being judged for being different or doing something different to what everyone else is. And if you're also like me and you are an anxious girly, I hate being judged and seen. It's just something with my anxiety that just full on I would rather just be in a little hole or cradled up and just never ever leave my room if I could. There are times where I've had to actually push myself to either go to that class, go to that gym's class, or go and hang out with my friends, because I didn't want to be seen as someone who is normal. I mean by we don't want to be seen and judged. In general, we're natural humans. We all want to fit in with people. I mean, if you speak about evolution and wanting to fit in with people, but I really have no idea about evolution stuff, so don't take my word for it. It's so tempting to follow the crowd because the constant need of feeling belonging, of feeling valued and seen and being approved by others is something which we all face. I think we're always going to face it, regardless of where we are in life. Oftentimes when we do keep following the crowd, we keep doing what everyone else is doing simply because we are made to believe that we should. There's so many consequences of conforming to this stereotype or this normalization that we have, and we tend to lose ourselves. I have lost myself personally these past couple of years, simply because I was pleasing other people, simply because I was following other people's dreams. I was following someone who I thought I knew, and this is me. I, in a way, was following an ideal version of myself that other people created for me. So, for example, my parents, feeling pressured simply by your parents because they want you to go to university. But this also comes to my next point of all of my friends go into university and they know what they want to do. And I felt like I have had to go to uni simply because I need a degree to be successful in life, that I need to be with everyone else and feel that I am on the path of success, if you will. And this has don't get me wrong, I actually do love my uni degree. I love it. I love learning. I love going to uni, and I've actually made such great friends at uni. But there's a part of me that I'm unsure about what I want to do with my career. I'm unsure of, is this really me? Is this something that I want to do? And whilst at the time when I started my degree, I loved it, I wanted to do it. Now that I've developed and started to get to know myself more and actually push myself to get to know myself more and be my own self, I've learnt I don't want those things. I don't know. Well, actually, at the point in my life right now, I'm not sure what I want to do with my degree. And I know a lot of people feel this way, like you start a degree simply because all of your friends are going to university, or your parents are telling you need to go to university. You simply go there because you want to please other people and you want to follow the crowd to be normal to go. And not only do we lose our identity and our sense of selves when we follow other people, follow what they want us to do, we also lose ourselves through social media. And I've noticed it's such a common trend to follow complete word for word, action for action by influencers, just what people generally say on social media. Social media is such a toxic place, but at the same time, I love social media, and social media for me has actually opened up so many pathways for me. I have found a simple little community on there and I love it. But then there are times when I'm going on social media and I'm on my personal social media accounts and I'm scrolling and I see people who I'm following and went to primary school with and everything, and they're going out every single weekend. And there's nothing wrong with going out every single weekend, but these people have over 20 plus friendship group, a big friendship group. I am feeling at times I look at the photos and I'm like, why don't I have a big friendship group? Why don't I have 20 plus friends? Why aren't I going out every single weekend clubbing and going to bars? I feel like I have to follow the crowd of going to bars every single weekend, having a big friendship group simply to show that I fit in with my age gap, that my early 20s of partying, of making the best of my 20s in a party kind of way. And I've noticed that this is, for me, that doesn't align with who I am. I am a homebody. I love being home, but then there are times where I do want to hang out with my friends and we want to go to a bar. But I'm not someone to go out every single weekend. I'm not someone to have a 20 plus friendship group. I'm not like that. And there are times when I feel like, why am I pressuring myself to think that I need to have 20 plus friends? Why do I feel this way? And this comes into the stereotype and the expectation that we are meant to have a lot of friends, that we are meant to party every weekend if you're in your 20s or if you've turned 18. Then it comes into when you're in your late 20s and you're pressured to either be already married and have a kid, but that's not always the way for some people. Social media, especially because you see it of people who you either went to school with ages ago, and you go on social media and you see what they're doing, and they're like either starting family, getting married, or they're successful in their business. Social media, we can get caught up so much in other people's lives. Especially, we think that we have to have the exact same life and the same routine as other people because it's expected on social media. It's a expectation, and it's normalized on social media that we are meant to do that and to be that. This tends to, all of this getting caught up in social media or following expectations, following the crowd, it also brings it to, you miss so many opportunities to do things yourself and to grow. And I've seen this in my degree. I didn't mention it, but I study criminology, and one thing that I do know that I do love learning about is how we develop over time, through our life. So especially as young children, we are open to new things. We are learning. Our brain is functioning differently. It's growing. It's making new neural pathways. And all of this ties into opportunities that you were given. When you're a kid, obviously when you're a kid, you follow and you learn from your parents, your teachers, and you're given their assumptions, their beliefs onto you as a child. And as this happens, you learn to grow, you learn to develop your own beliefs and your own assumptions, whilst it might be pressured or put onto you by those around you. Often at times when we do follow the crowd, no matter whatever age we are in life, we tend to miss opportunities that could make us grow into the person that we are wanting to become. We may miss a class simply because your friends were ditching. You may miss that class, but in that class you might be learning a valuable lesson that could help you, that could help aid you into the future. It's also the missed opportunities of feeling FOMO, so fear of missing out. This past year, I've been trying to say no to opportunities or no to things when I'm not feeling my best. Not just like I'm sick with a cold or sick throwing up, more so how I'm feeling mentally and physically, if I'm up for it. Another thing is I've learned to, if I go to a place or go out with friends, like I start to feel unwell in a sense of I need to just step away and calm myself down, I will leave. I will leave because I'm not feeling up for it, even if it's in the middle of it. And one thing is, this is a side note, your friends will understand if when you speak about this to them. You'll be fear of missing out on all of these either opportunities like going to class, of learning that thing, but not just that. You could have a fear of missing out on traveling. So traveling is another great way that people learn, and they learn things of different cultures. Sometimes if we get so caught up in other people's lives, if we get so caught up in other people's expectations, we are missing out on that opportunity to learn something valuable. We are missing out on an opportunity that we know is better for us. All of this of FOMO, of missed opportunities, of loss of identity, we're missing out on experiences and opportunities which could potentially be important for your individuality. Oftentimes, we tend to start to feel regret and self-doubt and a lack of fulfillment of all of these opportunities, all of these missed opportunities, all of these missed things, of feeling pressured and actually following the crowd. We tend to feel all of this. The thing is, self-expression is so important throughout your life, especially in your younger years. When you were growing up, all I can remember is being told not to cry a lot because I'll be a crybaby. I'm a crybaby if I cry too much. If I show too much love, it comes across as needy. Being younger by my teachers, by my parents, being told that as a young girl and growing up, you kind of learn to not do those things and you bottle them up. And it's not good for you. It's not good for yourself. It's not good for your friends and your family. This is why self-expression is so important, especially as younger kids growing up and learning how to express your emotions is so important. I think the biggest stereotype and the biggest thing that when I think about self-expression is that I think of young men and boys, their societal expectation, they're pressured to not show emotion and to be manly and to just be tough. oftentimes we see it that they don't know how to communicate their emotions when they're older. Not only that, self-expression is also a way that we can actually find our own crowd. Now, this is the part where I talk about more, where following the crowd, I feel like there's two different crowds. You can follow either the crowd where everyone is just following it simply because they want to fit in, they don't know what to do. And so they just follow every other person. Then there's also the other crowd where everyone who's in the path that they know they are going on, everyone's in the crowd of they know what they want to do in life and they are themselves and that they are not following the crowd and they are okay with not following the crowd and they want to do their own thing. So they're all going in the same direction, even if they're on different paths. So when you start to self-express, when you start to go on your own path, you do find other people who are on the same alignment as you go into that path. And I've noticed this ever since I started finding more passion in what I wanting to do. When I started putting passion into more creativity, I have started going on to a bigger picture of I know where I want to go in life. And I've noticed I've been finding more friendship and connection, but I've also started finding more connection and friendship with even my friends. I followed their path simply because they knew what they were doing. I found out I'm more connected now with them than I was before because now I'm starting to know who I am and starting to go down my own path. Now we're in alignment and it's fulfilling. It's fulfilling now than it was before. This is why it's so important for us to strike a balance though between fitting in and standing out and standing true to yourself. It's to keep a sense of authenticity and well-being. If you are like, okay, well, how do I move on from following everyone else and how do I move to take actions to start to put myself first and to believe in myself? The one thing that has helped me I feel like it's more the past year, and that's actually starting to get to know myself, starting to get to be a bit uncomfortable with myself and ask myself questions. And it's so important to know your values about yourself. So your values, your beliefs, your assumptions, knowing your values and what you value in a person, in a partner, in a friendship, in yourself is so important. Once you start to kind of get the blueprint of it all of your values, everything starts to unravel. One way I love finding out what are my values and who I am as a person is through journal prompts. There's so many ones on Pinterest, hands down recommend because they have such great ones. You don't have to go into these journal prompts on the toughest question about yourself, like your deepest, darkest secrets. You don't have to do that. You can go through positive questions and it could be, what are your 10 favorite movies and what are your favorite songs at the moment? And when you start to just do fun questions and questions here and there, you get to know yourself as well. And it's quite exciting to get to know yourself a bit more and you start to be a bit more honest with yourself. I noticed I struggled to do a lot of the tougher and the more personal questions when I first started because I just felt a bit uncomfortable with getting to know myself. It's something I still struggle with. Getting to know myself, it's awkward. It's a little embarrassing and shameful, but over time I've started to accept myself and to like who I am and who I'm becoming, and it's okay to feel uncomfortable. It is, and you build confidence. You start to build a bit more confidence in yourself. You start to build a bit more confidence in who you are becoming and wanting to become. It gets a bit more exciting to pause before deciding on the decision. So if you are hanging out with a group of people and they are wanting to break into a building, one, you should know automatically not walk into a building, okay? I feel like everyone knows that. But number two, you got to pause and think, does this align with my values? Does this align with my beliefs? Is this me? Or am I simply doing it because everyone else is doing it? Am I simply doing it because I feel that I have to do it? Pause and think, does this align with me? What would happen if I did this, if I got caught? All of these thoughts will start to come up. And it's so important to start doing this, of thinking before you decide, not being essentially impulsive. I am an impulsive person as well. So it's also been a challenge. Like if if I'm either going out to a bar drinking with my friends and they are all downing shots left, right, and center. There are times where I felt like I had to do that because simply everyone else was doing it. And now I've started checking in with myself a lot and go, hey, do you want to have a hangover in the morning, girl? No, you don't. So slow down. So just pausing before you decide is super, super important. Okay, so now we're coming up. We're nearly wrapping it all up, guys. Thing is, when you start to go against the crowd and you start to go on your own path, there's some challenges. And the challenge is it's discomfort about going against the crowd. The discomfort of being judged or misunderstood is a challenge when you start to go on your own path and to be yourself. You got to realize that it's uncomfortable because you are not used to it. It's uncomfortable because you are doing something that everyone else isn't doing, or there are other people in your life who are doing it and they're going down their path. So you get a bit uncomfortable of going down that path, going against the crowd. It kind of reminds me of like a new pair of shoes. And when you start wearing them, sometimes they can be feel a bit weird and uncomfortable. But then over time, as you start to do it, start to wear these shoes, they start to mold into your feet, your feet molded. I don't even know what I'm speaking about, but you get what I'm saying. And you start to get a bit more comfortable, get a bit more confident with yourself and with your process, and you start to acknowledge, you're going, hey, look, I'm getting better at this. That's the point of going against the crowd. It's a challenge and it is exciting, but it's scary. I feel like a lot of people start doing it, everyone's going to be doing their own stuff. And this comes to another point. I'm going to wrap it up and then we're going to be done. You are your own person. We are all made for something different than each other. And it's okay to go against the crowd. It's okay to go with the crowd. But I think it's so important. You need to stay true to yourself and you need to know who you are and to be yourself, because if you don't stay true to yourself, if you don't stay true and believe in yourself and start to like yourself, other people most likely will reflect this to you. It can lead you down a different path to what you want and it can bring you down. So I just wanted to put that out there. But following simply what other people are doing, how they are doing it, thinking if you should be where you are in life, I feel like it does more harm than good. It's done me more harm than good. And I think it's so important to be yourself and to stay true to yourself. So yeah, so that is the wrap up of this first episode. I hope it goes well. I probably won't, but oh my God, self-doubt. Here we go again. Thank you for listening to the first episode, or the first thing of the Intentionally You podcast. I think this name might stay. I don't know. Thanks for listening in, and I will try and do this a weekly thing. So I'll see you next time.